wrestling fans, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast. For the next 2 hours, we will bring you the latest pro wrestling news, in-depth analysis of all your favorite promotions from across the globe, and much, much more. We will also bring you exclusive interviews with the greatest professional wrestling personalities on the local, national, and international levels. If you want to follow the Wrestle Talk Podcast, check us out online at www.wrestletalkpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And now, it's time for the reigning, defending, undisputed leader in pro wrestling podcast, the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Que pasa, que pasa, que pasa, loyal members of the Wrestle Talk family. It is your boy, the one and only, the Vato Loco, the Night Owl. Love that, love that. Got the interns in the back doing their thing, hitting those drops. So if they're late or early, don't blame us. It was the interns. We told them they should have had more coffee. Haas, I know you're in the back. No need to jump on just yet. I recommended. I said, guys, you might as well just get a bag of IV, stick it in your arm, and have that thing in there permanently. Because if you're going to keep up with me and Haas tonight here on the Wrestle Talk Podcast, episode 451, you are most certainly going to need it. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we shall not go on this voyage alone. That's right. We are hitting the pro wrestling seas today, but I don't have to worry about doing it alone because I've got the man himself, the head admin of the FWWC FED, or the Fed. My friends, your FWWC hardcore champion, the one and only. That's right. Hardcore House.
That's right.
What's up, big man? Welcome.
What's going on,
dude? It's great to see you. Now, I will point out that if you look at your name, underneath your @ looks perfect. But if you look at the one above, it actually says Hadcore Hoss 1. I'm sorry, bro. I couldn't help it. My bad. I couldn't help it.
Got him.
Something to spell it.
Got him.
Right off the bat. So are you feeling a little dyslexic today, or what the hell's that all about?
You know, actually what happened was it seems like when I do FWWC tonight, it doesn't have the bottom line. So I keep having to change the top line so that it's right for the FWWC tonight and then switch it for this show. But it just, for some reason, the second line isn't there.
I got you, Hadcore Hoss. Got you covered. No worry. And, of course, already coming to your defense, you got Hardcore Sis saying you're a little loopy. And then you got Sunny Money calling me Renee Zellweger. It's all right. Listen, it's okay if all of you are suffering from excuse-itis. I think Hardcore Hoss is more than able to defend himself. Thank you all very much. But you know what? I had to give you a hard time, Hardcore Hoss, because that's freaking hilarious. That said, everybody, thank you for being here. This is going to be a tremendous episode. John, I know you're very, very excited about our guest. Why don't you tell them a little bit about our upcoming guest in the second hour? And right after you do that, I will hit our sponsor spot, and then we'll get on the road, baby, because we're going high speed for 2 hours right here on the WTP, baby. Tell us a little bit about Billy J.
You know, we've got a guy coming up. He has refereed for several years. He taught himself how to do it by watching videos of WWE and WCW referees. And he's refereed for a lot of big name matches. And, you know, just really looking forward to talking to this guy. And so sorry, something else grabbed my attention. But yeah, so really looking forward to talking to him. He's seems like he's going to be a heck of a nice guy, and
we're gonna have a good time. It's guaranteed. Guaranteed. Well, I'll tell you what, Hoss, I know you're keeping an eye on the chat. I know you're keeping an eye on all the members of the Wrestle Talk podcast family. Here's what really makes things exciting. If you guys want to want to join the conversation, all you got to do is shoot us a message and we will bring you on and we could talk about anything in the world of professional wrestling that you want to discuss. Obviously, we got a couple of things we need to hit on, specifically our wonderful sponsors. So on that note, let me be the first to give a huge thanks to all of our wonderful sponsors, starting with Royal Mills Transportation for all your transportation needs here in the greater Kansas City area, Rathbun Engraving of the world-famous Wrestle Talk podcast mug, Nobleman's Barber Lounge in Kansas City, Missouri. Go down there, tell them the Wrestle Talk podcast sent you. Kincaid Arcade at the Oak Park Mall. Man, best arcade going in the Midwest as far as I'm concerned. Of course, our friends over at Interstate 70 Sports Media. Those guys handling business, growing every day. If you guys may have seen the new Tumblr created by Popeye Designs, we always love Felix and the work that he does. And, of course, the aforementioned world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, Hardcore Hoss, the FWWC. Did I do a good job with my W's there? Did I do a good job? I think my W's my W's came out just right. But you are the master. So did my W sound okay?
They were close. They were close.
All right. Well, I'm trying to be more Hardcore Hoss, less Michael Cole, right? Because I don't want it to sound like a WWE. I want it to sound like WWFWWC. That's what I'm shooting for. So I want to be more Hoss, less Cole. Is that okay?
That works for me.
No, you're supposed to hit me with the, that's right. Come on, man. I'm queuing you up, brother. Come on.
Sorry, I've been a little distracted. I looked down and all of a sudden I had a spider about that damn big looking at me.
Well, it's West Virginia, man. I'm surprised you guys don't have raccoons and foxes and all kinds of crazy wild animals running around. Hey, I'm telling you what, people don't like amphibians and lizards. I personally love them. You know why? Because they eat the spiders. They eat the spiders. People are terrified of lizards. I'm like, dude, I'd rather deal with a lizard than a spider. Am I wrong?
Oh, no. See, I have no problem with lizards. It's like people are scared of snakes. I think they're kind of fascinating. How the hell do they move around with no legs?
That's a great point. And also, bro, can you imagine the infestation of mice and rats that we would have if it wasn't for our friends that cruise along on their bellies? What the hell is this? Does this turn into an episode of National Geographic? What the hell are we talking about? That's good shit. What are we talking about? Yo, what up, Lucha? Thank you for checking in. Luchador in the house. Susie seems to love her tumbler and her mug. We love you for having both on hand. And love that one. Oh, hardcore. Hey, your text actually looks even cleaner than mine. I think you got a more updated text version than I do. It says, delivery gal got bit in Florida by a venomous diamondback. What the hell are you doing hanging out with rattlesnakes? I mean, if you would have stayed out of the rattlesnake's way, I'm sure that rattlesnake didn't walk into her house, right, and bite her. I'm sure she was out in the woods doing some Florida type shit. That's why she got bit, Hardcore Hoss. I mean, let's be honest, right? Got to have some common sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, there we go again. That's right. Come on.
Right.
Come on, Hoss. All right, guys. Guess what? This show is on the road. Do us a favor, though, and hit that share button, hit that like button, let people know what you're doing. Talk to us. Let's have some conversation. And more importantly, hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling, because we have a tradition here, folks. Go ahead and get that thing queued up, boys, in the back, because before we kick off high spots, we're going to do what we always do about this time, y'all, and ask everybody to please respectfully remove your cap, place your hands over your hearts as we pay homage to the greatest country on God's green earth. That's America, damn it. Hit it, boys. What kind of cerveza? Good question. What the hell's all this background noise? What are you talking about? Are we still listening to Roseanne? Okay, so for those asking, I found a local brew. It's called Breesedale Hazy IPA. I've been obsessed with these. They're actually from Fields and Ivory Brewery, brewed right here in the great state of Kansas over in Lawrence. So shout out to Fields and Ivy Brewery. If you guys want to tag them and tell them that we're showing them some love, maybe they'll turn around and show us some love. We could always use more sponsors, right, Hoss?
Always. Sponsors are a good thing.
That's right. We got to keep the intern. That's right. Yeah. We got to keep the interns juiced up with coffee. So we need that. We need that sponsorship money so we can buy it by the Costco size. You know what I mean? Keep everybody moving. Broken Skull. This is about the same price as the Broken Skull, except it's a little tastier, personally speaking.
You've had the Broken Skull?
I have. Yeah. They've had it here in Missouri for a good little while now, and really, really enjoyed it.
Both of them?
Well, no, the original release is what I've had. I know he came out with more of a pale ale afterwards, and I think I may have tried that as well. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. Don't show us that can if you're not going to open it, Hoss. Are you going to open it?
No, these I've already had some.
Okay,
not
cool.
Tonight, of course, but
right, of course not. What are you doing?
We have the lager.
Okay, the lager's the new one they came out with,
and the IPA.
The IPA was the original. That's the one I had, and I loved it. But the alcohol percentage a little bit higher than what I like. I like 6 and below, just so I can drink many of them. And also a little bit more bitter than what I like. I'm telling you, listen, I love Stone Cold. It's my favorite wrestler, but the Breezeway is just another level. I'm sorry. Maybe it's just I'm a little biased for the Midwest. No disrespect to the Broken Skull IPA. I got a quick message up here, Hoss, for my man Jared, former winner. I think he took home a lunchbox or something. Boss man, hope you're having a kick-ass week. Remember, you love, and I'm loved and appreciated. You're loved and appreciated. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And listen, I appreciate you guys in particular because I know you see the sign over my right shoulder here. We're going to talk some shit tonight. We're most absolutely going to talk some wrestling, but boy, we're going to talk some trash. We're going to poke at each other. We're going to have some laughs. And most importantly, John, we're going to have a great time discussing what we love, professional wrestling, right here on episode 451. So with all that said, let's go ahead and cue up the music, baby, because it is that time, the time everybody looks forward to every single week. That's where we welcome every single member of the Wrestle Talk podcast family to join us, to participate. Let us know, drop a comment, shoot us a DM. We will bring you on and we will have some savage pro wrestling conversation. All you got to do is send that message, drop that comment, and we will bring your stinking ass on. That said, let's go ahead and cue up the music, ladies and gentlemen, for this evening's edition of the Wrestle Talk podcast High Spots segment.
Mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like clear chops. We talk shop, coming through the screens of a laptop. And non-stop like a running speakers of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops. Like a spark flash, look like a barely fly. Now that's hard. We up to speed while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk podcast, now they know. We about to start the show.
Now, John, I will say I'm a little surprised. I'm looking through our banners, and I actually don't see the banner of our guest. And I'm a little confused by that. So I'm hoping that maybe we can get that addressed because we absolutely need the banner for our guest. For those that weren't here at the onset of the show, let me remind everybody that in the second hour, we are actually going to have a very special guest. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can see there in the background. Well, this is what I was looking for. Sorry about that. You did load it, John. Thank you. Billy J, 10-plus year veteran of the sport, has had a run with IPW amongst other independent promotions. Also submitted for WWE Tough Enough in 2015 and also entered a challenge or a contest for TNA as well. So clearly, Billy J is somebody who has been around the world of professional wrestling for a very, very long time, Hardcore Hoss, and I apologize for the accusation. You did a fantastic job. I suck. You're great. I'm ugly. You're very handsome. You're talented. I'm slow. You're the man. Point being, Billy J would join us. Not only is he very well versed in the world of professional wrestling, Hoss. What's up there, big country? Kansas is in the house. Cali's in the house. What up, y'all? He also is a world traveling blogger, Hardcore Hoss. And also, Billy J may be able to help you up your contest winning game. Contest winning game. What does that mean? You'll need to stay tuned in the second hour. Trust me, there'll be some nuggets and gems all throughout the entire episode of Wrestle Talk Podcast. But more importantly, when we're joined by Billy J. Hoss, I think people are going to have their freaking minds blown, because we're always here to add value to the members of the Wrestle Talk family. But if I can teach you guys how to be more successful in any particular area of life, or at least bring you someone that can help you achieve that, then we're more than happy to do that. The Wrestle Talk Podcast, Hoss, you already know, we're here to serve the people, the fam, so to speak. The Wrestle Talk Podcast fam. That said, it is High Spots time, Hardcore Hoss, so why don't you take it from here? Let's get that randomizer going and bring up our first topic of the evening.
All right, let's see if this randomizer will work right here tonight.
All right. Oh! The People's Champ. What is our topic? I can't wait to see it. All right, Haas. Why don't you take that away for us, man, and I'll go first. Go ahead, buddy.
Is The Rock returning to SmackDown the biggest surprise comeback ever?
You know, Haas, when I saw this one hit the board, I was tempted to have a knee-jerk reaction, but I said, you know what? I've got a couple of days to really think about this, right? And it's not just about who came back, but it's about when and how. Now, let's go through recent memory just quickly here and talk about some of the comebacks that have really resonated with us over the last couple of years. So the one that comes to mind from just a couple of years ago was when the Hardy Boys returned to WWE unexpectedly. That really, really blew people's socks off. I think that was a very, very special moment. I would say maybe that was about 5 or 6 years ago. I remember we were doing one of our watch parties. We were down in the West Bottoms in Kansas City. We had a packed room in the back. And let me tell you something, man. There was not a person in that room that didn't almost shed a tear when they see the Hardy Boys come back. Also, when Edge came back a couple of years ago, that was absolutely extraordinary. Just hearing that music hit, you could feel the goosebumps in the air. I mean, you could literally feel people's excitement. Everyone turned into a 14-year-old kid all over again, Hoss. So Edge's comeback was something special, okay? But I have to say, I don't think any of those recent comebacks compare to the comeback of the People's Champ, of The Rock. So I'll go this far. I will say that this is the greatest comeback in recent memory, and at very least, the last 10 years. Now, there's going to be some that are going to immediately bring up Phillip. Okay, they're going to bring up Phil because that comeback happened, and many would argue that that's the biggest comeback that we've ever seen. But mind you, Phil never worked for AEW, so technically he wasn't going back to AEW. He was starting to work for AEW for the very first time. So did he come back to the sport? Yes. Did he come back to the company that he previously worked for? No. And that's how I am kind of quantifying this comeback by saying, is this the greatest comeback that we've ever seen for somebody returning to a previous place of employment? Though I do believe Rock's been under contract all these years. even though he hasn't been there, which is how the XFL deal happened and all this and the other thing. So you have to forgive my long-winded answer here, Hoss, but I'm going to go ahead and just say yes. Based on those parameters that I just described, I am going to affirm the fact, I'm going to concur with the notion that this is indeed the biggest surprise comeback ever. And we could talk about all the repercussions and impact that's going to fall out from this. But as a standalone moment, absolutely biggest comeback of all time this past Friday night when the great one came back home. Hoss, it's all yours.
Yeah, I actually have to agree. I have not seen a big crowd eruption like we saw when The Rock came back. I mean, yeah, John Cena, he got a hell of a pop, and I'm not going to deny that. You know, a lot of I've seen several people who've gotten big pops when they come back, but The Rock just totally blew the whole damn place up when he came back with, you know, just from the cheers and ovation that he got. So I would have to say, yeah, that probably is the biggest comeback that I can think of to date. You know, it was definitely something.
Well, and what's up, sis? Thank you for checking in. I love you. God bless you. I miss you so much. Here's what I think is interesting. So, like my sister here, I would call her less than a casual. And what I mean by that is you've got your diehards, you got your casuals, and you got your less than casuals. And what I mean by that is the less than casuals only tune in when Bad Bunny is going to make an appearance at a WWE show. Why? Because they know Bad Bunny. The less than casuals will only tune in when, who is the other? Jake Paul. There's another example. You've got some younger kids that are not necessarily wrestling fans, but they hear Jake or Logan Paul is going to appear at WWE. That makes them want to check it out. Same with guys like Pat McAfee, and I'll go down the list, right? But there's no question in my mind. If we're talking about bringing in less than casuals, there's no bigger star on the planet to bring in those people than the great one, Hoss. The reach The Rock has is hard to. Now, I'm not saying that he's a bigger star than Bad Bunny, but what I'm saying is that he's such a cultural impact that people that normally wouldn't tune into wrestling hear, oh, snap, Dwayne The Rock Johnson was on SmackDown last night. I'm going to check that out. And the evidence backs it up because I saw a stat just yesterday that says that clip of The Rock coming back to SmackDown is already the most viewed YouTube video of all time. Within the span that it's existed. It's existed for less than a week, and I think it's already over 103 million. 103 million, folks. That's 1/10 of a billion. 1/10 of a billion views in less than a week, Hoss. That alone, I think, gives us all the evidence that we need to indeed proclaim that this is the biggest surprise comeback ever. And what's wild is they gave it to us and it wasn't even a pay-per-view. So it makes me feel as if this Endeavor UFC TKO deal is this is the tip of the iceberg of some of the things that we're going to see moving forward, man. This merger, which, by the way, the Monday before this SmackDown that we're discussing was the very last Raw where Vince McMahon was the sole proprietor of the WWE, meaning as of Friday of last week, he is no longer the singular and final decision maker for everything that happens with the company. And I think that's already, Hoss, starting to bear fruit.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, because I honestly was watching Monday Night Football. I wasn't even, that was on SmackDown. But anyway, I was watching something else when he came back. And, next thing I know, my phone's blowing up with people. The Rock is back. Oh, my God, there's The Rock. He's on. And, I flipped over to watch his edited tutorial,
What do you mean edited tutorial? Explain that. What do you mean by that?
Oh, his you are.
All
You
that,
are.
okay. By the
You
way,
know.
make a note, Hoss. You look fantastic. I think we just need to get you a forward-facing light, like something that you know what I mean, like not maybe like a small ring light or something. I think that would really take you to the next level. By the way, for those that haven't noticed, bro, the evolution of your backdrop is crazy. I remember when you first moved to this particular area, and it was just the those foldable backgrounds or whatever. And now
Oh,
look at it,
that
bro.
that was at the old house. Yeah.
Dude, it looks absolutely phenomenal. But we do just a mental note. We got to figure out a way to get you a little bit of forward-facing light, a light that faces you, because I think that would take your whole setup to the next level. And by the way, guys, that is how you can assist us. We don't ask for handouts necessarily. We do have some pretty awesome merch. We've got the Wrestle Talk Podcast mug. We've got the Wrestle Talk Podcast tumbler. Hoss, can you show that to the folks one more time, that beautiful tumbler of yours? Guys, these are $20. And if you want them engraved with your name customized, it's just $5 more. So it's $25 plus shipping. It's going to last you longer than any crummy t-shirt that you could buy. Okay. They're absolutely wonderful. And that's what we use this for. We use it to buy prizes to give away. You guys know we gave a lunchbox out a couple of weeks ago. And then a few weeks before that, we gave away another lunchbox. As a matter of fact, I still have Mrs. Sonny Mayo's lunchbox right here that I should have given Sonny the last time I saw him, because clearly she earned this thing. Okay. So when we talk about you guys helping us out with merch or whatever, okay, it's not because we're selfish assholes. Well, maybe Rodell and Gabe and some, and maybe even Waits are a little bit, but Hoss and I definitely were not. So so honestly, guys, it's a great deal. You get something that'll last you a lifetime. By the way, this is a bar quality mug. This is not going to break real easy. It's real heavy. It's got some girth to it. So, and that's what we use it for, right? To like improve the production or whatever, whether it's a ring light, camera, sound, or whatever. That's what it's for, guys. So just make a note of that. And again, if you haven't shared this broadcast yet, hit the like button or commented. Please do so. That's what the show is all about. Again, hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling. Hoss, time for the next topic.
All right. Well, let's see if we can get that randomizer fired back
It's
up
working
here
just
again.
fine. It's working fine.
Yeah, the last week and this week it has been. Now, Rodell said he had a problem with it not too long ago, couldn't get it to stop. But
well, that means that's on a loop. Turn off the loop. Ooh, I'm ready for this one. Oh, I'm so glad this came up. I feel like a lot of women's stuff has been going on in wrestling. I'm glad to be able to talk about this. All right, guys. As you can see, the image is Nia Jax returning. The high spots question for you guys is... Come on, boys. There it is. Hoss, how would you book Nia to ensure this run is successful? A pretty black and white question there. I like it, man. You want to take it first or you want me to?
why don't you go ahead and take it while I think a little more on that one?
Okay, so here's what you... Okay, can I flip the question a little bit and start off with what you don't do?
You go for it.
Okay, here we go. Here's what you don't do, ladies and gentlemen. When you bring back Nia Jax, who has a reputation for hurting other professional talent, the very first thing you do isn't run an angle where she hurts both the champion and the number one contender. So apparently, Nia has already injured Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez, and she hasn't even been back for a week. So listen, I get it. You want to paint her as a badass. You want to paint her as an ass kicker. I'm all for it. But you know what narrative you don't want to put out there, JP? You know what you don't want the people to start talking about their Hoss? You don't want them to start believing that this chick is back to hurting people again, because this was part of the issue that she had. And as a matter of fact, the biggest contribution she's ever made is by accidentally punching Becky Lynch in the nose and making her bleed. That's literally the greatest contribution. Now, she was in the Royal Rumble. That was kind of cool. I know she's been tag champs a few times. I'm not trying to downplay that. But then again, when we look at how they're treating the tag team championships, Hoss, the women's tag team championship, I mean, they basically just gave the other belt to Piper Niven. and she'd never even been in the ring with Chelsea Green before. But that's neither here nor there. I shall digress to say this. If you're trying to get Nia Jax over with the fans, you might not want to have her put out the #1 female in the sport right now. Miss me with that Britt Baker crap. Everybody knows it's Rhea. Rhea is the it girl, okay? The very first thing Nia Jax does, at least from a storyline perspective, is she hurts the champ and the #1 contender. So I'm going to answer that question by flipping it and putting it on the other side of the coin, Hoss, because these are the things that you don't do if you want to get her over. If you want to discuss what you do, by all means, do. That's gross. But if you want to discuss what you should do, then take it away, man, because you're a braver man than me. I only had the gusto to go after the stuff that she should do, because, dear goodness, they most certainly seem to be prescribing from the book of booking Nia the way that you shouldn't be booking her versus booking her the way that you should. But that said, I will step back, Hoss. Let us have it, man. I know you got a strong take on this one. Go ahead, Poppy.
You know, I help book matches and stories in the FWWC, and I can't come up with a good booking for Nia Jax. I mean, so many people have gotten hurt in the ring with her. So many people don't want to work with her because of how dangerous they feel she is. I can't come up with a decent story for her that's going to make her truly relevant, because who wants to work with her? I don't see anybody wanting to, so.
I got it, Hoss. Booker against Gunther. Booker against Gunther, Hoss. What do you say?
Yeah, I don't even know that Gunther'd want to go against her as dangerous as she is in the ring.
Dude, she's a pit bull in there. And listen, I love Nia. Don't get me wrong, bro. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but dog, everybody has this thing. Like, we all know this chick is dangerous in the ring, and before the week is up, they're already talking about she hurt 2 people. And then that, okay, you can perceive that the injuries may be semi-legitimate, because sometimes they'll play their injury angle, like what they're doing with Rollins right now and his back, but yet he's there every week. Right? Oh, Rollins is hurt. His back. Shinsuke's targeting the back. He whispered it into his ear. So they can run the injury angle and still keep that person active. Like, even with Raquel, she wasn't cleared to wrestle, but she kept showing up and attacking Rhea until this matchup happened, right? But with these injuries, you notice no Mommy last night, no Raquel Rodriguez on Friday. So I hate to say it, bro, but this is the wrong way of booking Nia Jax. I don't understand it. And as a matter of fact, I'd love your guys' thoughts, because this is a hot topic. Listen, the women are on fire right now from the stuff going on with Becky Lynch. I know we can't jump to anything else because this is high spots. But, bro, the women are really what the bee's knees is right now in professional wrestling. And this Nia Jax thing, I think, like I said earlier, man, it's just the tip of the iceberg. It is. But if you guys want to talk about this or our previous topic, chime in. Let us know you want to come on. We'll send you a link, and you can join us right here during the high spot segment.
And instead of the randomizer, I'm just going to bring in the next topic, because personally, in my opinion, it kind of piggybacks with this one.
Okay, let's do it. Veto power. Take it away.
And that is, it's been reported that Jade Cargill has signed a $68,000 main roster contract with WWE. Do you feel she's being pushed to the main roster too quickly, or are you ready to see her on the main roster? Well, personally, when she came into AEW, she had no professional training. She had never wrestled in her life when she came into AEW. She was then trained by Dustin Rhodes, and I forget who the other one was right off. But anyway, she was trained there in AEW. And so she really hasn't had all that much experience. So you've already got Nia Jax on the main roster hurting people. Now you're going to put somebody that hasn't been in the ring that long and hasn't had an overabundance of professional training on the main roster. Are you trying to kill the whole main roster? Is that the goal, just to get rid of the women because you kill them all, or what?
Well, here's the beauty. Here's the beauty of what I think is a great question. I think that the WWE tends to be more careful than AEW when it comes to wrestler safety. They just don't do as much in the ring. That's why guys like, and my personal favorite wrestler right now is Rey Fenix. But that's why guys like that have a hard time translating over to WWE. Just see Ricochet. Like, he's great when he's allowed to do everything that he can do in the ring because it compensates kind of for his lack of character, charisma. You can call it whatever you want. But, Kevin Owens also, I remember when I was first learning about Kevin Owens / Kevin Steen, I was like, wow, look at all the stuff this guy can do. And then when he goes over to the E, they don't let him do like even 30% of what his entire moveset is. So fortunately for Jade, they can kind of give her the Hogan treatment, the Cena treatment, and I would hate to see somebody that talented with the 5 moves of doom, but it can be pulled off. And let's be honest, bro, Roman was kind of in the same mold, right? Like, he had the look, he had the lineage. I mean, the dude was $1 million just looking at him, but he was very like underwhelming from an entertainment standpoint, even though you knew he had all the physical tools. You always wondered whether personality-wise he could connect the dots. So I think in terms of one of the best raw talents that you could ever have, that's what you're going to have in Jade Cargill. You don't have to rush it. You got enough talented women right now that you don't have to make it too quick. And I'm with you, bro. If they're giving her all that money, there's a chance that they're going to fast track her, which what does that mean? That means that the possibility that she's going to embarrass herself, hurt herself, or someone else, that goes up. But again, I just have to have faith in the incredible talent backstage, the trainers, the Shawn Michaels of the world, that they're going to put her in a position to be successful. And, that chick's got money written all over her, bro. I mean, whether that's your flavor of ice cream or not, she is an impressive human being. You know what I'm saying? She stands out in the crowd, and she can handle herself on the mic okay. She really can. I was very skeptical. I know they gave her, Smart Mark Sterling early on, but after a while, she didn't even need him anymore. She was just doing it. She's not Britt Baker, but she's got something to work with. She's further along than most girls would be this early on in their career. And if they do put the jet back on her, I hope that they protect her as much as humanly possible, Hoss. Those are my thoughts on Jade.
Because I think she really needs to start down at NXT. Just give her some time down there. Just see what she's going to do in the ring and make sure she's not going to hurt herself or anybody else. That she is up to where everybody else is in WWE before you put her up on the main roster where, people are already getting hurt. It's just not a good look to stick her right to the main roster, I don't think.
Well, you make a great point. You definitely don't want 2 cyclones running around your locker room, right? Because you got Nia showing up and starting to, fill body bags. And if you want to put somebody in there that's not ready, I mean, and listen, I know this is a bad comparison, but I'm kind of looking at how they're handling Maxine Dupree. A lot of people may not know who that is. Maxine Dupree is a valet for Alpha Academy. So they've limited her in-ring action. Now, do I want to see Jade Cargill as someone's valet? Maybe Bobby Lashley and the Profits. Like, I think she would fit there, and I hate to make it like put all the black people together, put all the Mexicans together, LWO. I don't necessarily like that, but let's just be honest, Hoss. That kind of fits. You put her with Lashley, you put her with MVP. I mean, dog, I think that's money in the bag. And she doesn't have to go out and wrestle a Nighty Neidhart level of chain wrestling type of match. She could just go out there and dominate motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Put her out there like a young Baron Corbin. Put her out there like who came in and didn't have, they weren't asked to do too much, man. I'll think of another example in a second. But,
Sonny says Chad Gable. Put her with Chad Gable.
Sonny. Like early on, Kane, they didn't have him do all kinds of crazy shit, right? He'd come out, he'd do the big boo, he'd chokeslam some dudes, and that was it. And that's all you got from Kane for like the first year. You know what I mean? And that's okay, bro. But does she have everything else to put on the screen right now and make money? Absolutely. And I agree with Sonny. Well, I think they're already having Gable drop the comedy gimmick for the most part because he's legit as hell. I think she should work with Gable behind the scenes, but on screen, I would love to see her with somebody of equal stature, both literally and not literally, like Bobby, Tez, MVP, and Doc. That would be a nice little thing there. And don't you ever put Chad Gable in the same conversation with Triple H, man. What is this guy talking about, John? I get it, bro. You like Gable, so do I, okay? I like Gunther, you like Gunther, but bro, don't you ever put Chad Gable in the same conversation with Triple H. Are you out of your damn mind, my man? This dude is crazy. Look, Hoss can't hardly contain himself. He's over there laughing and coughing. Just kidding, Sonny. We love you, man. Keep the takes coming, dog. What do you think, Hoss? Am I out of line?
You got to be careful because Sonny seems to think you're being racist. So
I don't give a shit what he thinks.
If you're not careful, we're going to have to censor you.
Oh, guess what, buddy? I got this little thing right here. That means you can't. Anyway.
That didn't help The Rock, now did it?
You're not lying. You're not lying. Wait a minute. See, here's the blasphemy. See, bro, we're having a great conversation. And then you got to start with this nonsense that nobody, even you, Sonny, not even you believe.
Drew a dime. Not a dime. Not a dime.
What is he talking about, man? My man is out of his damn mind. Again, guys, we are still in the midst of the Wrestle Talk Podcast High Spot segment. So please don't hesitate to shoot us a message or a comment. If you want to come on here and talk some professional wrestling topics with us, if you want to talk about your local show, if you want to talk about national, international, man, we are here for it because there's so much going on in the world of professional wrestling. That said, Hoss, are you ready for the next High Spots topic? Because I'm ready.
Let's fire that randomizer up.
All right, let's hit you guys with it. What are we talking about here? Ooh, look who it is. It's the greatest of all time, according to Michael Cole. And Grayson Waller, talented young guy. I'm curious what the topic is going to be here. All right. John Cena. We all saw John Cena and The Rock with their backstage little interaction. Here we go. Question reads, is Cena doing the WWE fans himself a service or a disservice by coming back in his most recent appearances in the WWE? Hoss, with your permission, I'll go ahead and take this one first. Listen, guys, when you reach a certain level of success, it's hard to backslide too much. And let's just be honest, we all know that part of this has to do with the fact that there's a writer's strike in Hollywood. Because our friend John Cena keeps himself quite busy between his Toyota commercials, all the movies that he does. He's extremely busy. He's even doing animation. My man's learning Cantonese. It's kind of impressive. So is he doing himself or his legacy any harm? Probably not. Is he doing the fans harm? In some cases, I would say yes, because some people are over it and have been over it for a very long time, like yours truly with CM Punk. I think the only ones that he's truly doing a disservice to, Hoss, are the young talent that he's not working with. So he's helping, Austin Theory. He's helping, anybody that he gets in the ring with on a regular basis of these young talents. I'm forgetting who else he's been engaging with. I know Austin Theory was one of the people that he was recently dealing with. Grayson Waller, right? We saw him up on the picture. So the people that he works with, he does them a huge service by being there in those segments with him. But what does that mean? That means we see less of the younger talent. We see less of Tommaso Ciampa. We see less of Chad Gable. We see less of Kaiser and Vinci. Whenever John Cena comes on, it's never a 5-minute, 6-7 minute. It's always a long segment in the beginning, a whole match, and then a speech afterward. So my man is going to consume a solid 15 minutes of programming every single time he's scheduled to be on, and rightfully so. He's a legend. But John, time is everything in the world of professional wrestling. You know it. I know it. When you're seeing and you're booking a show, the booker's in the back going, hey, guys, you got 8 to 10, you got 12 to 15, blah, blah, blah. John Cena's never going to get less than 15 minutes. Those 15 minutes would be served very, very well, helping to build up the women's tag team division, which they're failing to do. It would help build up the men's tag team division, which they're failing to do. I mean, we've got championships that we haven't even seen pop up on the screen in a while. Why is that? Well, it's because you've got guys like Cena and Rock who, though they may draw all the audience in the world, they're going to bring more eyeballs to you than you're going to get from any other younger talent. But in reality, the only way for this younger talent to get better, John, is to get the opportunity to be on screen, to get the opportunity to grab that microphone. So as much as I love the legends, bro, nobody loves a great comeback more than your boy, the Night Owl. But if it's on a weekly basis, like what we're seeing with John Cena at least, okay, that's taking 10 or 15 minutes of screen time away of talent that's supposed to be ascending right now. But you give that time to the legend. Again, he's earned it. I'm not disputing the fact that there's going to be more eyeballs on the product because of it. But iron sharpens iron, and unless they give you the microphone live in front of that audience, you're not really getting better. And I don't give a shit how many house shows you do. I don't give a damn how many WWE lives you're a part of. If you're not getting TV time on Raw, SmackDown, or pay-per-views, you ain't doing shit. And Natty Neidhart cut a great promo last night on Becky Lynch about that specifically. She said, Becky, you're talking about you're going to elevate the NXT championship. You know what you did? You cut the line. You didn't even have one NXT match before you challenged for the championship. You went down there and took the championship. So listen, there's two sides of this coin. I'm sure people are going to disagree. And again, for business sake, for eyeballs and butts, right off the bat, I'm going to say getting those guys back in there and having them have a constant presence within your organization, especially since the merger, is a great thing. It shows strength. But in the long term, you got to give the boys and girls TV time if you want to build your future legends. Period. Point blank. Because Cena and Rock and all these guys, they ain't going to be able to wrestle forever, John. So we got to give these youngsters the time to grow and develop. Otherwise, it's going to be stagnant, and they're not going to develop any new stars. And you and I both know if there's been a struggle in the WWE over the last 10 or 15 years, is developing the new stars. Because the headliners are guys that have been around for 10 years already. Roman, Seth, Brock. These are the same guys. We need the new talent to get opportunity. You know what? I'm going to point something out because I would be a hypocrite if I didn't. Huge kudos to a young man, not so young anymore, named Ivar. The match that he had last night with Kofi Kingston, I don't give a shit if there wasn't any buildup, though there was. I don't give a damn if you're not even sure which of the Viking Raiders that is. If you're a purist and you like to see what these boys can do in the ring, like truly display their talent, given enough time, because him and Kofi got 10 to 12 or 12 to 15. They got a good amount of time. I was not sure if you saw this entire matchup, but damn, I hope they find a way to do something with Ivar because that was so tremendous. And these sorts of things, these little gems throughout the show that people just fast forward through so they can see the John Cena segment, okay? This is what people are missing out on. These are the future stars that people are skipping over for what? So they can go watch the Rock segment. So do yourselves a favor, put down the dirt sheets for 5 seconds and actually watch the show. Because the more you see of the legends, the less you're going to see of the up-and-comers like Ivar and Gable and Brunson Reed and so on and so forth. That said, shout out to my man, Jay Hollywood. I love you. Thank you for being here, brother. Much success. I know you're doing your thing. Commentary, The Cage, you and Pat. You guys are incredible, dude. I caught you on the the Sam podcast to recently. Just know, bro, the Wrestle Talk podcast continues to wish much success on both Jeff and Jay Hollywood, man. Salute to you, brother. Go ahead, Haas. What do you got for the people?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. You know, when it comes down to it, yes, John Cena does put butts in the seats and bring in some money. You know, he's got a lot of fans out there, and a lot of people seem to want him back. But he's got so much going on that it's just he doesn't need to come back. So I don't know that it's doing him any service to come back other than occupying a little time during this writer's strike. But to the fans, they're loving it. But yeah, it takes away from all the people they're trying to build up and all the people they need to find a way to use, because there are a lot of misused people in the WWE. That's why you have them fall by the wayside. And excuse me. And it's just sad to see people fall by the wayside while they're bringing people back like John Cena and The Rock. You know, they're going to do one match, if that, and gone. Sometimes they just come back and do a cameo appearance and then gone. But these other guys are there working their ass off week after week.
No substance.
And they're not getting the TV time so that these guys can go cut a promo.
I couldn't agree more. And you would think that it would be easy, Hoss, because you're talking 5 hours of live programming a week. Now, that doesn't include NXT. That doesn't include main event. That doesn't include the pay-per-views. So you kind of do have more than enough time. But here's what happens. I call it the First Take syndrome. Are you familiar with the show First Take on ESPN or Undisputed on FS1? Are you familiar with these shows, John?
I've heard of them. I haven't really watched them, but I have.
So they're debate shows. And every Monday through Friday, every Monday through Friday, they talk about sports topics. Without fail, there's 2 things that they always talk about. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world, okay? They talk about the Lakers and the Cowboys. Every single episode, no matter what the hell is going on, they talk about the Cowboys and the Lakers, okay? And guess what? Anytime they talk about the Cowboys and the Lakers, guess what I do? I change the freaking channel. Yeah, the Cowboys are the biggest draw. Yes, the Lakers are the biggest draw. But guys like me that watch every week, we want to see and hear about what the Panthers are doing and what the Commanders are doing. Teams that are 2-0. Teams that are doing very, very well for themselves. No, we don't get to hear about those teams. We don't get to hear about the credit that they should be getting. They don't get the flowers that they deserve. No, we got to listen to them talk about the Cowboys and the Lakers every damn episode, John. So this is no different than what I'm referencing here with Cena and even The Rock. Again, and I will continue to say it. Yes, up front, it's there. You just did the Endeavor deal. TKO partnership is official with UFC. I get it. You got to bring the big names out. But if you do it week after week, you're not allowing the new crop of stars to grow and flourish. And I will leave it there. Anything else you want to add, Hoss?
Just Jeff says here, question.
Go ahead.
As I was reading it, it disappeared there.
Oh, sorry.
Question. Is there any possibility that Cena turns heel just like Hogan at Bash at the Beach back in the day?
You want to take that one first, bro? Go ahead. Please do.
I could see where they may try something like that, but you know, Cena is such a fan favorite with a lot of people. I would still see a lot of people just backing Cena if it happened.
Here's what I'm trying to figure out. When did we get away from half the crowd booing Cena? Like all of a sudden now John Cena's God's gift to professional wrestling? I thought we always respected Cena, but weren't we annoyed that he was leading off and closing every show with the 5 moves of doom? All of a sudden now he's freaking what? He's Dean Malenko in the ring now? What are we talking about here? I I'm confused. Okay. I love John Cena and I love The Rock, but I also need to see more of this incredible young talent. Jay, Jimmy, Tez. We've talked about Gable, LA Knight. We haven't even talked about him. I mean, damn. And guess what, bro? Give me some more Damian Priest. Okay? This is what I want to see. And maybe I'm pushing the legends out a little too soon, John. Admittedly, I'll be a little guilty of that. But the bottom line is that I don't feel like they need that anymore. Like, they truly have had this renaissance. And I'll credit a lot of this to the women and to Roman and Seth specifically. Like, this wave these guys have been on for the last, just slightly pre-bloodline, 3, 4, 5. It's incredible. You know who we're going to bring in? We're going to bring the CEO because he's looking dapper as hell right now, fresh cut. He's got a lot of business to handle. We're going to talk some FWWC, but we got to bring him in on this topic and whatever our next high spots topic is, John, because damn, it feels like we've got some great conversation tonight, right? Am I wrong?
I agree, my friend.
Let's keep it moving. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, the CEO of the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, the FWWC. Welcome, sir.
What up, man? You kind of said, I think I'm different avatars, Night Owl. My avatar has hair, then it doesn't have hair. I feel like one of those GTA creative characters.
You kind of got some CJ vibes going.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Actually, no, you look more like Big Smoke. I'm going to be honest. For those who know who that is.
Follow the damn train, CJ.
That's right, CJ.
Just follow the damn train. Well, get your big ass. That's all another deal.
Why is Sonny nice to everyone except me? Why? Why is this? I don't understand. I thought we were cool, bro. What the
You and Rodell.
Is that what it is? Is it that simple?
You know, it's you and Rodell he's not nice to.
Speaking of racist, I think that's what it is. I'm the only this color. I'm the only one that this color brown. All bullshit aside, Jay Hollywood has been here tonight. So, the CEO, I know you're a big fan of Hollywood as well, and I know him of you. So say what's up to him because I think he's still tuning in. Also, Jay
what's
Savage.
Up, Hollywood?
Jay Savage is in
Good
here.
to see you, sir.
Let me see here. It says CM Punk made it cool to insult stars for coming back and giving back to the business, stealing TV time. Okay. All right. All right. So let me clarify. And then I want to let you jump on this, Dewan. Let me just clarify. John, I know how you feel about Cena, and I know there's a bias there, but I don't think that's a biased take. Okay. Here's all that I'm saying. Okay. It's great for him to be back. But if he's back on a permanent basis, that can only take you so far. Okay, because these new guys have to be able to carry the show. And I'm talking about the open and the finish. Okay, and you've got the guys now to do that. The Gunthers, the Romans, I've mentioned 1,000 names already. I'm not going to keep doing it. You don't need it. And the fact that Cena can't work right now doesn't mean that we should have to suffer through some of this. Listen, a lot of it feels retread to me. I feel like they've done everything with him already. So if you're going to sprinkle him in, just make sure it's not to the detriment of everybody else on the roster. That's all I'm saying, because it can happen when you're leaning too heavily on the guys that come back. We've made this argument against Brock Lesnar, Dewan. When Brock would just pop up whenever, and we're like, oh, here we fucking go. He's just showing up whatever the hell he wants, working the pay-per-views, not doing any Monday night shows or whatever. I think there's the opposite side of the coin. When those guys are around too much, they take away from, again, that runway that the young guys need to take off and do their own thing without feeling that they needed to piggyback on the legend to get there, because they have the talent to do it. Chad Gable got himself over all by himself.
Yes, he did.
He didn't need to walk to the ring with Trish Stratus like the homegirl did. This what's the young lady? Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark shouldn't need Trish Stratus to become a star in the WWE. Am I making a point here? Because I'm not trying to hate on John Cena or The Rock. It's exciting to see them back. But ultimately, the talent that they have now is more than capable, and I don't want people to lose sight of that. I'll just leave it there. I'll leave it there. Dewan,
but then they got the nerve to want to bring Jade Cargill in and wonder why we're having such a big issue about these old guys coming back. Which God bless the media. Here we go. I'm gonna get into a rant, but God bless the media and spoilers. God forbid we're surprised about anything anymore. Good Lord, damn, y'all
they won't let us.
It's the millennials, man. See, you guys don't understand. Again, let me get my king. Back in my day, before there was dirt sheets, You used to have to tune in every week to watch the show. There was no internet and spoilers. What happened on Monday Night Show? You had to watch. What happened on Raw? You had to watch. Wasn't no goddamn internet and spoilers, and half of that shit's wrong and hearsay anyway. So I don't know, man. It's just emotions, bro. It's just emotions. Dead ass.
Well, I will say this, bro. We do have another High Spots topic, and before we put it on the screen, I actually love the vibe that we had a couple of weeks ago, where we brought you and Big Daddy P at the same time. So maybe we can kind of knock this out and do this as a group. Are you guys good with that?
Let's see what's
Perfect.
up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the broadcast as well. He is the resident chaplain of the Wrestle Talk podcast, also the proprietor of Painters Dream Productions. Ladies and gentlemen, my big bro and mentor, the one and only Big Daddy P.
What's up?
¿Qué pasa, brother?
Third visit in a row with no theme. Something's happened.
We're just trying to keep the combo. We're trying to keep the combo because the one had two. We're just
I've got an ego to uphold.
Okay, that's true. Gotta live up to the gimmick.
Well, every time the name Big Daddy P is mentioned, I promised the guy who wrote the song that I would always acknowledge that. So it's not just about me, but it's all good. And I'm glad you got into this topic because what a pop for The Rock!
Yeah, it was amazing.
Dude, I was in tears.
Who was surprised? Like, who was genuinely surprised? I didn't expect it.
In Colorado.
Did you guys know about it before? Did you know about it, John? Did you
no idea
before? So that is special. That they were able to legitimately surprise us, right? That's huge.
Yeah,
and
that
again,
is.
I didn't see it coming. I had no clue. I was so happy. The fact that we have the wrestlers that we do making appearances today is so wonderful. This business has never been better, man. Never been better. I don't care what anybody says. I'm so excited about Jay Cargill. I am a little disappointed that Red Velvet disappeared. She was one of my favorites. But
Right. Well, let me ask both of you this then. So do we feel like The Rock showing up and Cena being back, how much of that can we attribute to this Endeavor deal? This TKO
100%.
deal, this UFC deal?
Plus, The Rock bombed in Black Adam so bad that he and Oprah Winfrey deal with Maui. He had to do. This was the only thing that was going to save his career.
You think he was getting a lot of bad press? I heard that he was getting a lot of bad press.
Thing. Yeah. That Oprah thing was a huge. I understand why he was doing it, but you can't have millionaires and billionaires asking us poor folks for money when you alone had your own fire department to protect. That just doesn't fly.
What a mess. What a mess. Well, I'll say this just from a pure wrestling perspective. It was amazing to have him back, whatever the reasons were. And like we were talking about earlier in terms of John Cena, I just continue to feel like it's great to have the legends back. But at this point, we're literally in a new era. Do you guys understand that last Monday was the last time that Vince McMahon was the sole captain of the ship? He was the last word, the last say. And as of last Monday, that no longer applied. So as of Friday, when The Rock showed up, he wasn't the sole decision maker. I mean, are we into a new era now? Or does it feel like it's going to be an incremental change? What do you guys think, Dewan? What do you say?
Well, kind of funny you mentioned that. And I go back to the whole deal. And I'll say it again, like I said it last Thursday on the FWC Tonight. If you haven't watched the show Wrestlers on Netflix, check it out because they spoke of something really big. To me, it's the money deal. Wherever the money is, that's where the momentum is. And got to keep it real. UFC, Dana White, all those guys got a lot of money. So I can see now that I can see a lot of things happening, but what worries me is the fact that when you put that element of, okay, let's do these big ass shows, let's put all this money out, you lose that passion for wrestling. You do, or should I say, they lose that passion for what wrestling is. Wrestling isn't always about who can get the biggest fireworks or who can have the most lights. Sometimes wrestling is about two guys getting in the middle of the ring and telling that story. And I'm an old school guy, I really am. The Hulk Hogan's, the Stings, the Macho Mans, the Bret Harts, the Shawn Michaels. Wrestling is a storytelling element that we all appreciate. And what I'm afraid of is we're going to see one gosh darn pay-per-view, UFC versus remember the video games back in the day? UFC versus WWE. You just got some all kind of crazy ass shit. They're taking out the ring and then they're putting in the octagon, or just put the octagon inside the WWE ring. As a matter of fact, put it above the ring. You know, those guys got, just put the ring up there in the middle of the thing. Yeah, we're gonna like, come on, dog.
Well, they already did a ring with no posts or ropes. Remember, they did Shayna versus Ronda, and it was like an MMA style match, right?
And you see how that went.
Yeah,
That's any indication of what we got to look forward to.
There's definitely going to be more creativity moving forward, and the cross brand stuff I think is healthy for everybody.
Do you think it's inevitable, though? Do you really think that it's inevitable?
What's already happening?
UFC cross
Some of the biggest stars in WWE are MMA guys. I mean, come on. And who do you think they get their promotional inklings from? You know, a lot of them are biting. You know, we've been seeing them biting. Vince and Connor was walking around like this, bro. He even said it. That's the Vince McMahon walk. He even, bro, come on. They've been biting that style, bro. So I think they feed off each other. Hey,
speaking of Vince McMahon, did anybody happen to notice? Did anybody see Vince on the stock exchange?
I didn't.
Okay, he was on the stock exchange. Look it up. I want you to look at his hands when he's standing there. He's got a cane, and he's having a hard time controlling his hand from shaking. He might have Parkinson's. I know when they went to look over at the thing, he turned around like he just had, which he did had spinal surgery, so I get it. But when he turned around like a 95-year-old man. It was really.
Isn't he almost 70 now? I mean,
isn't
that expected? Isn't that expected? I don't know.
Yeah, but
I don't think I'll be doing that good at 70. I'm gonna be honest.
Dude, I'm with you.
I don't think so. All right, so listen, I want to take advantage of our time because we do have a guest coming up here in about 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm tempted to throw up just one more high spots topic because we've had some great ones here tonight. So Hoss. If you could help me with this as well, let's get it and get the randomizer ready. We're going to pull up one more Hot Spots topic. Then we'll touch on FWWC. We'll get out of here with some snippets of truth. And then we'll move on to our featured guest of the evening, the one and only Billy J, Ref Billy J. It's going to be a great conversation with him as well. So go ahead and cue that up, Hoss. And let's get up another topic, baby, because I'm ready to roll. 78.
Oh, Jesus.
What in the world? Oh, this show just took a left turn.
Impact. There's my answer.
I don't know. He might relax for a while. You know, honestly, it's kind of weird seeing those you rarely see a straight transition, especially for guys who work WWE extremely long. They got to take a little bit of break because WWE's schedule was a whole lot more demanding than, let's say, an AEW or an Impact or an MLW. So he might take a little bit of time. I mean, I know I would, you know, because it's such a demanding schedule. You're always on the road. You're always doing stuff. You're always, you know, entertaining the fans. You're always on TV. Once you get away from WWE, nothing wrong with a little bit of a break, in my opinion. So he might chill for a bit. Hell, he was in the middle of a creek or something doing something. I remember that picture that got posted. He was on vacation doing something. But where he might end up, maybe MLW, maybe Impact. I have no idea. Maybe nothing. I'm not sure.
Here's a little context here. Sonny reports that he saw something on X about him being baptized in Jerusalem. So
there you go. Okay,
even better.
Okay, so who? Hey,
maybe he's on his Pat Tillman. You know what I mean? Maybe
he might
he's
get
on
into
that
ministry.
Yeah. Well, I can't say that's ever a bad career move because if you're saving souls, I think that's a win no matter what. I will say this: it makes you wonder about guys like him and Miro, guys that achieved a certain level of success. Mizdow. You guys remember Damian Sandow? He was really over for a while with the Miz and without the Miz. You wonder, you're like, these guys reach a certain level, you know, like Miro, what Rusev Day, right? That at its peak was like pretty dang successful. You wonder how they go from there to out in such a short period of time. I wish these stories were told a little bit more. Maybe Elias will talk about that in a book or in a podcast somewhere down the road. But you almost wonder, like, dude, you were on this like trajectory to be a great. What happened? You know, and it's almost incredible. I think it's just as interesting as the wrestling to chronicle how these guys ebb and flow through their careers. Because I think we would all have assumed when he was peaking that he was going to be there for a while, because he obviously had made that connection, and then it just goes away, and you wonder why. So curious to find out in the future.
And again, you wonder where our fear is when it relates to LA Knight.
Do you guys agree with Kevin Nash on him? Have you guys heard Kevin Nash take on?
Elaborate.
Haas, have you heard this take? Sonny, I know you have. Kevin Nash has been on a rampage, gentlemen. An absolute rampage. If you give me just a second. LA Knight. Against LA Knight, and basically just calling him a complete ripoff, nothing original. Yeah, I agree with Sonny. He sounds super bitter, and he's a big click guy. So I'm still working on pulling up the article here, but I mean, it's not a pretty sight. He's basically been railing on LA Knight, calling him inauthentic, saying things like, you know, there's no way they should even be paying this guy the same amount as the other wrestlers, because he basically is just using ripoffs from other characters, catchphrases. Even his wrestling style is unoriginal. As you guys can see here, being reported by Wrestling Inc. Kevin Nash, amusing response to LA Knight taking a shot at him. You know, Clutch Points reporting that Kevin Nash chose violence against LA Knight. So yeah, if you want to go down the wormhole on this, guys, it's pretty serious. And Kevin Nash is a guy who has very respected takes on professional wrestling, obviously due to his involvement with the Clique and his history, and the fact that, you know, he's part of the NWO, one of the most successful factions in history. Let me just read a paragraph here and see if I can pull something out. It says here, I had forgotten about it until, LA Knight brought it up on SmackDown. Based on the response the SmackDown crowd gave him, I'm quite sure they had forgotten about it also. I read different things where he took a shot at me. How is that really taking a shot? This is a guy that is basically a bottom feeder. If you were to look at it systematically, if Scott Hall doesn't jump and Nash doesn't jump, we don't start our thing. All of a sudden, the biggest thing in wrestling is who's the third man. Okay, so you talk about him compared to LA Knight, the difference between their speaking and what you're speaking LA Knight. More or less, and I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but he just completely discredits LA Knight, talks about how he's 100% inauthentic, and just rails on him completely. Guys, I'll let you read the article if you guys choose to, but do you feel like LA Knight is biting everybody's style, or does it feel original, or are you okay with the fact that he's kind of, let's just say, calling back some of the legends? How do you guys feel about this guy?
Well, one, I think LA Knight is fire. He's great. Kevin Nash lost his son, so he's bitter and he's struggling. So forgive Kevin for what he doesn't know. He's jacked up. He's got something to say, and he has a platform to say it on. But there's no doubt that that LA Knight is definitely. I wouldn't call him unique in as much as I would call him original. Just because he sounds like somebody, who else, does that? Who else, when anytime his name is mentioned, everyone yells, yeah. I mean, so he's money. He outsold Cena in merchandise a couple weeks ago.
I mean, yeah, listen, I'm a fan, but do I see the resemblance that he has to some of the talents of yesteryear? Absolutely. DeJuan, you've got to see it, bro. He's got the leather vest. He doesn't say, oh, hell yeah, but he does say, yeah, which has a pretty similar connotation and rhythm. I mean, do you agree or disagree? I'm curious.
I mean, to me, it's about entertainment, man. And we got to, you were referring to football earlier. Again, we come from the generation of Brett Favre's, Dan Marino's, Tony Romo's, Troy Aikman's, all the guys that paved the way. That way, Patrick Mahomes could be here. That way, Josh Allen could be here. That way, all these new guys coming into the league could be here. So so it could be easy to say, oh, well, Josh Allen's ripping off Drew Bledsoe.
Do we lose him?
Okay, I'm back. You got me?
You're muted.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me? All right, cool. So
Yeah, we hear
that's
you,
my whole
Devon.
thing. We good?
You're good.
Okay, cool.
I just got a
that's my
brand
thing,
new
man.
computer, so I was wondering if I was causing noise.
Nah.
If my mic was causing, was that because I heard something? That didn't come from me, did it?
I think that might be your mic, Big Daddy P.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. I think that might be your mic, though.
We good? All right, cool.
I think we're good. Go ahead, Dewan. Finish that thought.
So that's my thing, man.
Actually.
No, it's not me because I was.
No, you're right.
muted.
That's the AD. When you're not talking, mute. We're gonna mute while you're. You gotta unmute yourself.
That's you, Night Owl. That ain't me.
No. What I was saying is you need to unmute yourself.
I'm just making sure we know where the noise is coming from. Not me, big dog. But anyway,
Cool,
just to kind of wrap it up, man, like LA Knight is what LA Knight is to the new generation what DX or those old guys were to us, man. Every generation has to have that one guy that sticks out, that entertains the masses. Let the boy cook. Shit. Let the man alone. Let him sell the merchandise. Am I afraid that they might not put a big belt on him? I don't know. But remember back in the day when the little guys actually won the belts? When the guys like LA Knight, guys like Daniel Bryan, guys like Rey Mysterio actually had an opportunity at the World Heavyweight title or the big belt. Yeah. Nothing wrong with the big guys winning the titles, but man, the reaction that those guys got, the pop, the Kofi, the response. When was the last time? Was Kofi the last small champion we had? I mean, if we're being honest.
Maybe. Yeah, because it's been big names since then.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah. Now you're biting his style.
Now
maybe Dewan's the biter.
I don't know, dog. I don't know. Hey, wonderful. Real quick, I know you guys got to roll, man. The only thing I have to say about the FWC real quick is that make sure you tune in this Thursday, 8 p.m. Central. I'm going to make an announcement concerning the FWWC #1 contendership for the international title. Big announcement concerning that match coming up at Fastlane. As you guys always know, card is subject to change.
Hey, Dewan, I just have one question concerning the FWWC, and then we'll let you get out of here.
Yes,
my question is this. Can you go over the 4 pillars of the FWWC? Because I've
okay. I might forget in my damn self.
Some people, okay. Well, I will help you. Okay?
Promos, role play, matches, activity.
Close enough. Listen, guys, whether you're in the Fed, the FWWC Evolution and Development, or you're on the main roster, if you're booked for a match, you cut a promo, you build it. You come in under their video, they come in under your video. You don't just cut a video after their video. You interact with them after their video, and then you cut a video. Okay? You show up for your
matches. Yep.
Okay? You don't distract anyone else. You show up, you make your picks, you shut your damn mouth, and you win matches. Okay?
Role play.
You communicate with your opponent, right? That's the communication aspect so that the role play makes sense. Okay? And then what you do is you kick ass. You really try your best to come out here and impress in everything that you do. So it's quality, right? Quality.
Right.
Well, some people would call themselves the 4th pillar, but we're not talking about that guy today, okay? Those are the 4 things that it takes. I don't care if you've been here 10 years or 10 minutes. If you're not doing that, I've been told that the judge may be back in session soon. So if people don't get their shit together, somebody's going to whip out the gavel again, and it's going to be a problem. So I don't care if you've been here for 10 years or 10 minutes. Get your shit together. If you can't role play, if you can't cut a promo, don't even take the match. Do not waste my booker's time. Do not waste my admin's time. Do not waste my champion's time. Do not waste my legend's time. The people that care about being here, do not waste their time, because, again, I have it on pretty good authority that if need be, the gavel will be whipped back out and people will be seeing their way out the door. So somebody needs to clip this out of this episode of the WTP and post this on the page, because this is not a game and it's not a warning. Okay? We're being genuine here. We are the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, and just because you don't hear me speak about it all that often doesn't mean that we're dropping the standard just for your ass. So get busy or get going. I'll just leave it there. Juan, is that fair?
Pillars.
And I see you out there. God damn.
If you're
I'll see
talking
you
about
Thursday,
pillars,
Hoss.
you got to
I'm
talk
out.
about hardcore Hoss now.
Oh,
Quit
geez.
talking-
We'll talk to you Thursday. I'm out.
That's right. FWWC tonight. World's premier fantasy wrestling promotion. Thank you to the CEO. Well, guys, we've only got a couple of minutes left until the captain. I'm ready for the voyage tonight. Billy's going to be joining us. It's going to be a great time, but we got to finish things off properly because our resident chaplain is here, and we'll turn things over to him on this note. Big Daddy P, I personally just want to ask you to petition on behalf of my babies. I got a young man in high school, a freshman. I got a little girl that's 11. She's one step away from middle school. So on my behalf, I just pray for them and all the challenges and all the temptations that they're going to run into over the next couple of years. I know that the op is wise in his years. So that's my personal petition. And then also, man, I've been seeing a crazy amount of homeless recently. And instead of feeling anger because they're a nuisance and a hazard to people on the road, and that is true, I actually feel empathy for them, because lost souls, man, that's hard to see. So just on my behalf, man, I say you petition the big man for those 2 things. Hoss, did you have anything that you wanted to sling at Big Daddy P before he gets going on his snippets?
I asked you a few weeks ago to pray for a friend of mine who was in hospice. He passed away, so keep his friends, his family in prayer. And we also asked you to pray for our friend Janet, who has stage 4 lung cancer, and so she's still battling that. So continue to pray for her.
Okay. I lost a couple people this week as well. So people, guys, time is running out. I mean, if you think that if God has called you and you know he's called you, but you're waiting until maybe a certain time, don't wait, because you might not make it. The way things are going, his return is imminent. We know that Christ will return. He will rapture his church. It will happen. So if you have put your faith and trust in him, you're okay. You're not going to go through the tribulation. You will be free from that, and then you'll return with Christ. And he's going to come back on a horse, and we're going to fight a war. Obviously not with these bodies and with our flesh, but I just want to encourage you that if you are considering a relationship with the Lord, don't wait. Do it today. Do it now. Don't wait, because you might not have another opportunity. I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying that because I love you enough that you need to hear the truth. You need to know that it's the truth that sets you free. And what this world has to offer is nothing but disorder, chaos, disloyalty. The world has nothing to offer. Don't chase money, because money comes and goes. But never forget that our Creator, who brought us here to begin with, says, I will complete my work in you. It's a promise. Everything that we have is by his doing. Our life, our birth, our jobs, everything, internet, power, breath, our children. There's no better time than 2023 than to be a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ, because when things become chaotic as they could, it's only going to get worse. I didn't say it. It's in the Bible. It's for thousands of years. It's been communicated that while everybody thinks we're looking for peace, 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 it's not going to happen. You only have peace in the Lord. If you find yourself worrying all the time, if you find yourself bitter towards people and you have a bad attitude because of everything that's gone on, you need the Lord now more than ever, because he'll never leave you. He'll never forsake you. He'll always be there for you. There will never be a time he won't be there for you. He's not a genie. It's not like you can rub him and then all of a sudden he says, you have 3 wishes. It doesn't work that way. But he does give you the desires of your heart. And when you do answer his call, which if it's ringing, you better answer that phone. But when you do, don't think that prosperity necessarily comes with it, because most of the most poorest people I know are Christians. And that's not a coincidence, because see, we choose life, right? We choose, like, I could have chased money 20 years ago, but instead I chose to chase my children and be at all their events. Sure, I didn't make as much as I could have, but when they look back and they see that their dad made all those events, that has more value than money. So I want to encourage you that if you think money is the answer to your problems, you've mistaken greatly. Christ is the answer to all problems, no matter what they are. And for all of you who've submitted prayer requests, don't just think that these prayers stay here, because they don't. They travel on, and other people continue to pray. So have hope, because life is precious. It is a gift. You can't work for it. You can work all you want, but unfortunately, don't forget, if you don't do your homework, your home won't work. So don't chase money. Chase love. Chase your family. Chase your friends, especially those who are close to you, because they know you. And if they know that you're a believer, they know that when things get difficult, they can always talk to you, because you encourage them. You encourage them in your way. Not everybody needs to be a pastor. Not everybody is called to be a receptionist. Not everybody is called to be a wrestler. We all have our own positions. If you ever read the book of Nehemiah, you'll read a wonderful book about a group of believers who were assigned to a wall, and each one had their own section of the wall to be responsible for. We have a circle of friends and people that are around us and in our lives that we are responsible for, not only who they are and what they do, but how they think. And the best way to be there for them is to encourage them, to tell them what the Bible says, tell them what the Lord says, because it's his words and it's what he's done that makes the difference, not what we do. But I can tell you, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for 2 handfuls of friends and family and brothers in Christ who have just encouraged me beyond. I mean, I am literally, I just got a brand new computer this week. Okay. And if anybody knows anything about me, because I'm a web guy, I have a computer. And so a friend of mine came to me and said, Perry, I want to start working on some Jesus videos. I said, fine. He said, I'll pay you to edit. I said, great. He said, but that laptop you have looks like Moses used it in the wilderness. I'm like, I appreciate your kindness, but it's all I got. I've had it for 7 years. He said, until now. He said, I'll be back this week with a brand new computer. He came by with a 32-inch round monitor or curved monitor with a brand new laptop. That's a gaming laptop. He said, you don't have to work for it. You don't have to pay for it. It is free. It is a gift. And the same goes for salvation. It is a free gift. So I'm glad that it wasn't me making all that noise, because I've had to, over the last 2 days, if you've ever had to bounce between computers, it's a bear, because you got to reinstall everything. But I just want to encourage you today. Thank you for this time. And then I think I'll pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your goodness and for your grace and all that you do. Father, you heard the prayer and petitions from cancer to finances to safety. Father, we know that your job is to protect us, and you are faithful, and you always do. When it comes to sickness, we know that many times you allow things to happen because you've given us a strength, like sicknesses, for an example. Father, I know many times when I was in the hospital, I got to evangelize to the nurses and to the doctors. So I know many times in referring to cancer and referring to other diseases that sometimes it's the experience that you're going through that the Lord, that Father, that you put us through that we need to pay attention to, because there are people that we meet every day who need encouragement every day. So I just pray for strength and boldness in everybody that's listening, those that are serving you faithfully, and even those who aren't serving you that don't know how or don't have any idea. I pray that you would keep them awake tonight. Talk to them. Get in just like you did with me. Show off, show up, and just be who you are, because people they really, I think, Lord, deep down, they know you're there. But I think they're afraid because maybe they don't think that maybe you're so busy that they matter, that they don't matter, but they matter. Every human being, Lord, matters to you. And so because that's the case, and you tell us to do everything in love, that's why I continue to tell everybody about your love and your goodness and your grace. I thank you for Wrestle Talk. I thank you for all those that week in and week out pour into this, what I would call ministry, because that's what it is. It reaches far and wide to so many with a passion and love for professional wrestling that you and you alone created. And I'm thankful that we can wrestle with you, that when we don't understand something, we can come to you like a wonderful father that we know we can talk to. We know that will encourage us and won't beat us down. But Father, there are those that don't know you. They have no idea who you are. They think that you're ready to hammer them down, but you're not. You're there to love them. And once they turn to you, they never have to worry again. And that is what I'm thankful for. So I thank you for this time. I thank you for all the prayer requests, Father. I thank you in advance for what you're going to do. And for all those that you've taken home, Father, in the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of people who are home now, who now don't have to worry about taxes. They don't have to worry about a paycheck. They don't have to worry about relationships. They don't have to worry about nothing. But here we are today, able to worry, able to be concerned. But I just pray, Father, that those that are listening will trust you today in whatever situation they're in, so that by next week they can shout and cheer about what you did. And then we will know that you keep advancing, because sometimes I wonder if you know what's going on, but I know you do. And I wonder, what are you waiting for? But as I always say, one of two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to get through this prayer or you're going to return home. Either way, I win. I'm just so thankful that we can come before you and not get a busy signal or a voicemail, that you're always ready to hear from us. May everybody that's listening to my voice turn to you today. I thank you so much, and I ask these things in Christ's name. Amen. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, Big Daddy P. Big Daddy P, want to drop this up here on the screen as well before you go. We used to do this on social. I think we're going to start that back up.
Okay.
But if you feel more comfortable doing it in private, you can always send any prayer request that you have to WrestleTalkPodcast@gmail.com. Also, Painter's Dream at Painter'sDream.com. Big Daddy P is always there. No, it's Perry at Painter'sDream.com. So, yeah, so close. But anyway, either one of those.
I was so distracted by those white sunglasses that I was just like, Lord, forgive him.
Don't worry about it, bro.
He doesn't know.
Those are my granddaughter's little flower glasses, and
dude, you said the magic word, granddaughter.
That's my baby.
I get it,
yeah.
Dude.
Now you're gonna get me blushing. Things don't matter. I don't usually blush, but we start talking about my granddaughter, man.
Hey, listen, both of my daughters got engaged this month. My oldest
Dude,
And
you know
she's
what? I
with a
saw that.
great
Congratulations. Hey,
And
listen,
then-
you did your job well, my friend.
Well, I tried.
Yeah, I'm
You
sure
know
you're a
me.
great dad. I have no doubt about it.
Oh, dude. I bet Haas doesn't know I've got 10 daughters.
No, I did not know how many you had.
That's about as a surprise to face as you're going to get from Hardcore Hoss.
Well, listen, especially friends who know me, how they go, wait, you've only been married 4 years or 3 years. How do you have 10 kids? I
Well,
said,
bro, you
She
are.
came in with
Hey,
7.
listen, I'll be the first to admit you're a handsome devil, bro. It doesn't surprise
Well, I
me.
tried, but no, but she's the one. She came in with 7. I came in with 3.
With 3,
So,
there you go.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, it was a buy 3 get 7 free.
no, dude, no.
Love it.
It's called no. Let me tell you, it took me 3 seconds, bro. When she looked in my eyes after we prayed, and she said, "You know how much I respect you." Oh my God, I got so
They
wet.
call it puppy love.
You know, it was just, and so it took 3 seconds. And then after the fact, I went, wait a second. Lauren, Ashley, Summer, Hannah, Jelly, Mary, and Becky.
You are a monster, bro.
I'm like, man, this is going to be amazing. But half of them want nothing to do with me because I used to be their youth pastor. And now I'm sleeping with their mother. So I understand their anxiety, but get over it because we're freaking happy.
Well, you know what? I do have to hit this. Now you're with their mom. Get the winning sound effect. Good job.
In 4 years of being together, we haven't even gotten in one argument, bro. 4 years, not one argument. And I'm not saying that because let me tell you, I know I've been married more than once. I got married at 20, married at 30, married at 40, married at 49. So I know what I'm talking about. The fact is that's not normal. Okay. I know that. And I'm thankful because I've had enough of the other crap my whole life that now it's about time that I got peace in the home. Because let me tell you, and maybe I can talk about this next week, but do you know there are 18 things that you can do that can hinder your prayers from being answered? One of them is called not having domestic tranquility. If you go home and don't have peace,
more stressful at the house than at the job. You don't want that.
Man,
that's bad energy.
You've got a big problem. And there's
imagine you walk in the door and the first thing you hear is this.
Yeah. Again,
you don't want that.
Yeah, but anyway, I know you have a guest. I know you have a guest. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, everything you bring to the show is worth it. As long as the guests don't start bitching at me that you go
I don't
over,
want
then we're good.
Because again,
I don't want no heat from the guests, but listen, I always love you, bro. You know, when you and me talk, bro, we can go 2-3 hours. So it's like,
hey, have you spoke to Chris Whaley yet, by the way?
We did talk via message about 2 months ago, and I think he said he was down to join us when things start rolling, if you get what I'm saying. Gotcha. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Good. Cool.
Yeah, the book.
You guys.
By the way, guys, the Masked Saint book on all digital platforms, Amazon, your Kindle, whatever. The
masksaint.com.
Yeah, masksaint.com. And it was on Netflix for a super long time, too. But anyway, we love you, Big Daddy P. Good night. And we're excited because we got our guests coming on now, baby. And we're about to hit. We're off land. We're going to the seas, baby. We're riding with the captain for the next 30 minutes. I'm very, very excited.
Have fun. Love you guys.
Peace, brother.
See you.
Thank you, Big Daddy.
Hoss, do me a favor before we get into the guest. Could you hit the folks with the sponsors one time for me, my friend?
All right. As always, we love to thank our great, great sponsors. Royal Mills Transportations, that's the one and only Dewan Mills that you saw just a little bit ago. Rathbun Engraving, Wrestle Talk Podcast mugs, just $20. Nobleman's Barber Lounge, KCMO, ask for Pete the Barber. Kincaid Arcade at Oak Park Mall. Interstate 70 Sports Media, that's Jeremy Karp and the guys over there. Little Popeyes Designs, where you get your Wrestle Talk Podcast tumblers, and the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. So
can I try again? Can I try again?
Go for it.
You're the master of the W. So again, I'm going more for Hoss than Cole. Here's my FWWC. Is that okay?
WWC.
There it is. Yeah, because what I don't want is WWE. I'm trying to stay away from Cole, and I'm trying to be a little bit more like Hardcore Hoss. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been so patient with us. Our guest was actually supposed to join us about 8:25. He's been in the green room chilling. We had his Avion water and his green M&Ms on deck. Okay, just like he requested. We went and got him some Culvers. By the way, I don't know if you guys have had their concretes. Oh my gosh, they are so good. I love Wisconsin. I mean, the Packers suck, but Culver's is great. Ladies and gentlemen, is it both an honor and a pleasure to welcome into the show for the very first time, not only a veteran of the professional wrestling game, also a man that will put you on game when it comes to winning contests and making the best out of deals. Also an international travel blogger. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a referee, he is the captain, and he is also now the newest member of the Wrestle Talk podcast family, the one and only, the captain, Billy J.
Ahoy there.
What's going on, Cap?
Not much. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining the show, and thank you for your patience, man. The show's a little unorthodox, as you saw, as you sit in the green room. But for us, bro, it's all about the vibes. So thank you so much for being here. My co-host over here, he's on this side. Hardcore Hoss representing West Virginia. Say what's up to our guest, Hoss.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, Hoss?
Hoss seems to be doing okay, though slightly laggy. So let's do this. Billy, again, thank you for being here. I know you keep yourself busy with your day job, with the pro wrestling world. You're on top of it, but also with your travel blog. And I have to say, man, I like to go deep when it comes. Pause. I don't want that to sound weird. But I do like to go a little deep when it comes to the guests, because behind the pro wrestling personality of 10, 12 plus years, there's also the man, Billy. So tell us a little bit about Billy. What got you into traveling? What got you into wrestling? And what got you to be the all-around groovy dude that you seem to be? Because a lot of people have spoken very, very highly of you. I know you ran into us at the Hall of Fame. Awesome. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Talk to us a little bit about your upbringing, man. How the hell did you end up in this crazy world of professional wrestling, bro?
Well, I was born and raised in the great state of Iowa, and I would watch wrestling as a little kid, 5 years old. Hulk Hogan, of course, and Ultimate Warrior, all that kind of stuff. Then I kind of fell out of it for a while, but then I picked it up back when I started in high school. And then I attended the University of Northern Iowa, Go Panthers. And there they had a student organization. It was a pro wrestling organization. So they got money from the student government of the university to put on wrestling shows once a month. So that's how I got involved.
Wait a minute. So they were making more money than the boys in college? Come on, man. Gotta love that government money, bro. That's so good.
I don't know how much money they made, but probably some at least. But anyways, I was going to do like security for one of their shows. Well, the referee quit the week before their show, and they asked, "Hey, can you referee?" I'm like, "Sure." I've watched referees, and I wanted to be an NBA referee at one time because I'm 6'4". I watched a lot of tapes of WWF and WCW back in the day, and just watched the referees, and I self-trained myself, and that's how I got started in this whirlwind of pro wrestling.
I got so many questions for you, but here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, we use the hashtag Let's Talk Wrestling. That means we put the members of the Wrestle Talk family first. And that is fellow pro wrestling fans and aficionados and wrestlers and referees and ring announcers, all the like. So Timmy the King sharing with us that he happens to be a fan of Mid-South Wrestling, WCW, and all the way to WWE. So since you had kind of a unique upbringing in the sport, what did you gravitate to early on? Were you a Mid-South guy? Were you Smoky Mountain? Were you more WCW, NWA? What was kind of your jam early on?
well, shout out to Timmy King because I know him. But
So Timmy,
I didn't really I didn't start out for the indies, but mostly WWF, the WWE, WCW, a little bit of Impact wrestling was what I watched mostly. And then after I was in the business for a while, I started watching video from other promotions around the country, and I love the WWE Network when it was on its own.
it was awesome.
It's easier to see. They got lots of tapes of matches and stuff, so check it out. A lot of good history there. But yeah, that's what I usually watch.
What was your best tape? Did you have like one of those early ECW one night stands? I know I had WrestleMania 14 on VHS. I lent it to a guy I worked with at Pizza Hut and never got it back. Who knows where it's at and what he recorded over it. I think I'd probably rather him keep it. He was the dishwasher, so you already knew he had his hands dirty. But yeah, what was your best tape back in the day? What did you have that was like your prized possession?
I can't think of anything offhand, but I had a huge collection of VHS tapes, mostly WWF branded ones, but nothing really sticks out. Most of the pay-per-views, that's what I watched.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, that was an exciting era of professional wrestling. I know that both myself and Hardcore Hoss grew up, particularly like in the 80s and 90s. That was kind of the heyday. The Attitude Era for me was the most exciting, obviously, because of all the guys that turned out to be legends. On that note, just to pick your brain from the wrestling philosophy standpoint, what did you think most recently with the unexpected surprise return of the People's Champion, The Rock? Did that excite you as much as everyone else, or did you have reservations?
Yeah, I'm a fan of The Rock, so I'm glad that he came back. And I know he's going to come back eventually because there have been talks about it for a while. But good to see him back, and we'll see if we get a WrestleMania match out of it. But,
Would you want to see Rock and Roman like
yeah,
everybody else?
At some point, yes.
That would be incredible. Hoss, I'll let you jump back in here with the captain. We're starting to get off the dock now and get into the seas. I'm curious to ask you about some of your endeavors outside of wrestling, but I'll hold my horses for a minute and pass it over to my tag teammate here, the hardcore one, the champ, Hardcore Hoss.
Well, first off, while we're talking about you getting your start and your beginnings and everything, you mentioned that you trained yourself watching the tapes, and then after that, did you happen to get any training once you actually got into the wrestling before you did any of your spots, like when you got the fireball to the face? And also, how important do you feel it is for referees to get extra bump training?
So I'm about 90% self-trained, but when I started working for a regular indie promotion, Impact Pro Wrestling, they have a training school there, and I learned quite a few different tips from the trainer there, T.S. Aggressor, over the Midwest. So that's where I learned some techniques, and I picked some up along the way, just being on shows with other referees, and some that have gone on to WWE and to AEW. So yeah, but if I could do it all over, I would have gone to a wrestling school that trained referees. At that time, there wasn't a whole lot of wrestling schools that trained referees. It was just wrestlers. So, but if I could do it over again, I would try to find one that would train referees. And you need to be trained to be in the ring for sure, because you want to protect yourself and you want to protect the others in the ring.
Preach.
So there's a lot that goes into it. Some of us make it look easy, but there's a lot of work that we have to put in to make the match to enhance the match.
And you've done a very good job at that. And in March of 2016, you were presented with a Lifetime Achievement Award from Impact Pro Wrestling. And can you tell us a bit about what that meant to you to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award?
It was unexpected. I worked for Impact Pro Wrestling. It's an independent promotion in Iowa. They've been running since 2001. I started with them in 2002, and I worked regular shows for them for all throughout the years, all over the Midwest. And then in that year, I decided to move to Florida. So I wasn't going to work regularly for Impact Pro Wrestling, and so I had my semi-retirement show, and they presented me the award, and that was pretty awesome because you don't get a lot of respect sometimes as a referee or acknowledgement sometimes, but I appreciated that they thought of me so much for that award.
And it was a very well-deserved award that you received. And before I throw it back here to Renee, because I know he's got a ton of questions he's just itching to get at. But before I throw it back to him, we keep talking about you being on YouTube and everything. And so you have your YouTube channel, which is Captain Billy J Travels. And I understand that you have videos on there, entertaining and educational from your time of traveling. Can you tell us more about your YouTube channel?
Sure, yeah. So I found my other love besides pro wrestling is traveling. So I love to travel, and I fell into YouTube, and I thought, well, hey, I could vlog my travels because I go all over the place. I wish I would have vlogged way back when because I went to Europe 3 times, but that was before the YouTube phenomenon. So unfortunately, I don't have that video. But I try to record my travels either on land, mostly on sea, though, because I do a lot of cruises. And so I vlog every cruise I go on. I'm going on a 14-day back-to-back cruise next month. So I'm excited for that down in the Caribbean. So,
Captain, have you done a Jericho cruise?
I want to do a Jericho cruise. I have not been able to do that yet. But
if you do that, could you help coordinate that with the boys and maybe bring the WTP with you, and we can do like a joint, the captain along, we can, that would be fun, man. Cause I've always wanted to do something like that. That would be super exciting. Just take all the boys, make the trip down to the coast, take the cruise, come back, fly home. Dude, that sounds amazing to me.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
I want to roll with the captain.
I've had some friends that got on it and they enjoyed it. So I can't wait to try it sometime.
Nice. John, you got something else, bud?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll come back at the end and ask another question or two.
You just got to remind me because once I get going, bro, I'm a problem.
But yeah, if people haven't checked him out, be sure to check him out on Captain Billy J Travels there and check out his vlog as the captain. And
it literally costs you nothing to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. It's free, y'all. And plus, from what I saw, like, you're kind of a pseudo travel agent, because if I'm looking to travel, I want a good deal. I want to find is Enterprise cheaper than Hertz at this particular place, bro? You're on it. Like, it's respect. I mean that. Hit the subscribe button. Save yourself some money, y'all. Come on, be smart.
Yeah, I'm a frugal captain. I know how to find good discounts on cruises and all my travels. So.
You ever been to Mexico, Cap?
I've been to Cozumel, Mexico on a cruise.
Dude, I hopefully you get a chance to vlog that if you haven't already.
Yep.
Because I want to take the family down there. We're from Mexico, but we've never done any of like the touristy stuff, and I think we want to do the touristy stuff.
Yeah, I want to get over to the west coast of Mexico. I haven't been on the west coast, but I've been on
Mazatlan. I highly recommend Mazatlan. Maybe write that down or make a mental note. Yeah, it's pretty special over there. It's like the Cancun / Acapulco of 2023. It really is. It's a beautiful place. Actually have a timeshare out there. It's awesome. Anyway, okay, so I want to go back to the beginning. So you said I trained myself. And I know, like, maybe I'm going to use some dirty words here. So, like, yarding or working backyard. I personally have always, and I'm not the biggest hardcore deathmatch guy, so I think there's a contrast here. I don't care where someone starts. Jimi Hendrix learned to play the guitar in some shack somewhere. B.B. King learned how to play the guitar in a shack somewhere. Not everybody is classically trained. So I don't think that wrestling is an exception. So as far as your actual origins, when you say you're self-trained, like, was it you and your brothers in the basement on a couple of mattresses? Was it y'all just were one of the lucky kids that had a trampoline and you guys were able to F around back there? Or did you guys just have really nice grass? Or like, what was that real origin story? Like, what was that thing that got you into doing wrestling? Not just talking wrestling or watching wrestling, but doing wrestling. What was that moment, that physical moment where it took place?
Well, that student organization on campus, because they were a yarder promotion. So
Okay.
before I got there, they had just like wrestling mats that they did shows on. But the last year or so, one of the guys had a wrestling ring.
Wow.
And we had to haul. They had to haul that ring up 3 flights of stairs because it was in the east.
I've
gym.
moved some rings in my time, so I know.
I've moved a lot of rings.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that one was not fun to move. But yeah, I started roughing when they had the ring, but I seen their shows before when they just had like wrestling mats and just some rope that looked like a wrestling ring, kind of, but it wasn't.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Little caution tape.
So so I was like a semi-yard promotion that I was in, because some of the guys were trained, but again, some of them were not. But yeah, that's my origin basically.
Okay, the Hard Knocks, right? School of Hard Knocks is what they call that. You guys learned on a couple old wrestling mats. That's awesome, because you know what? I always like to highlight that, because I think there's some folks that there may be like almost a reservation in sharing that. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter where the hell you started. It's where you're going. And not so much where you actually get to. It's just that timeline in between the beginning and the end that really is the story of who you become. And what I think is kind of cool is that you take this love for professional wrestling beyond the borders of your city and beyond the borders of your state. I'm sure you're running into people in cruises and on airplane travels or whatever. So what's a unique story of maybe when you've been out on the road that you maybe run into a fellow wrestling fan, had an interesting conversation with nobody use, or have you run into any wrestlers or celebrities out on your travels up to this point in your career?
Not on my cruises, but when I go to like Disney World, I'll run into some people there that recognize me, and I like, hey, you were at a wrestling show back in Iowa. I was like, yep, I was. So yeah, that's where I mostly see people when I'm on land, but I haven't seen anybody on sea that
just yet.
My referee stuff.
So funny story. A year ago, my family and we went down to Florida. Actually grew up down there. But we went down and did the Universal Studios deal, and we ran into Austin Theory. And he took a picture with my son and I. Super sweet guy. I think he was there on a date or whatever. And we've all seen where he's gotten to, leading into where we started off with this conversation talking about The Rock. They put Austin Theory in the ring with The Rock and Pat McAfee. I think that is like the biggest vote of confidence. Nobody's really talking about that, but the biggest vote of confidence that you can give a young talent is by putting him in the ring with someone like The Rock. So going back into the wrestling psyche, what do you think of a guy like Austin Theory getting an opportunity to be in the ring with the People's Champ, with the Great One? Would you have chosen him given the Booker's Bible, or would you have chosen somebody else? I'm curious.
I think it's a good idea. I like Austin Theory when he came in, but he needs some type of mentorship, and I think The Rock is a good person to elevate him to the next level. I think so. I think it's a good fit for them.
You know, they broke a record. We were talking about this earlier. They broke a record on YouTube. Like within the first 3 days, it already had like 103 million views. That's exposure for Austin Theory that there's no other place that he could have gotten that. Right. So kudos to him. And I think they made the right choice as well. It could have been Dominic Mysterio. It could have been Chad Gable. It could have even been Gunther. But they chose Theory. And oh my gosh, when he cut off The Rock, guys, when he said it doesn't matter. Oh, I was like, good. Oh my, I was so proud of him, man. I was like, this kid, dude, he stepped up in the biggest moment and he held his own and he took that people's elbow like a champ. And then he took Pat McAfee's ugly ass elbow too. Like it was, it was freaking awesome. It was awesome, man. So let me jump into something else. So we had a couple of topics come up tonight. about Nia Jax. We talked about the Usos a little bit. What has you excited? Like, what are you watching? Is it AEW, WWE? Is it the indie stuff? Is it the shows that you're more directly involved with, that you pay more attention to? Like, what has you excited in the world of professional wrestling right now?
I watch a variety. So I'll watch some WWE. I'll watch AEW when I have time. I have a full-time job, so that keeps me busy.
True.
And I have other things going on too. So I don't watch as much wrestling as I want to, but I try to catch WWE at least, AEW. I'll catch some of the local stuff going on. Just watch the wrestlers thing on Netflix.
How is that? Everybody keeps saying it's great.
It was awesome. I binge watched it. It was awesome. I've been in the ring with Al Snow. I reffed a couple of his matches, so it was good to see a couple of the wrestlers I know in that show too, that I've been around. So I like the show. It's a pretty good show.
Well, yes, it's good to see the boys win, especially when you're talking about like your guys that you've worked with or have been around before. So kudos to you. Like, you're watching wrestlers, you're like, I work with that guy. Look at that. That's pretty awesome. So I know you said that maybe you're a little bit more on and off when it comes to what you watch. But one thing that I know is near and dear to your heart is the history of professional wrestling. And I know that and I'm going to actually kind of go into this picture and what it means to you. But I know, the Hall of Fame, the legends, the people that have contributed to this business over the years is something that you have a great deal of affinity for and respect. Myself, I was lucky enough, Cap, to go to the CAC last year. We were hosted by Herb Simmons and Brian Blair and the rest of the boys, and it was a phenomenal experience. And I'm going to try to get back there as well as try to get up to Waterloo. But talk to us a little bit about what this picture means to you, the people in it, and why it's something that connects with you personally.
Well, this is my family. My Impact Pro Wrestling family. So we took over doing the Hall of Fame show a few years ago. Before that, we ran one show in Newton, Iowa, when the museum was there. And then I also reffed a Hall of Fame show that Harley Race put on. But
R.I.P. the legend.
This is my family. These people have been around for years and helping out the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum and doing this annual fundraiser for George Tragos Luthez Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame induction weekend. So it's a fundraiser for the museum, and I get to spend time with my family in and out of the ring. So this picture means a lot because we try to take a group photo at the banquet ceremony every year, and I just love this picture.
That's awesome. So for those out there that consider themselves wrestling fans, remember there are organizations like the Hall of Fame in Waterloo, like the CAC in Las Vegas, that you can contribute to. If you care about the legends of the business, as we all saw recently, Hacksaw Jim Duggan was in the hospital. These guys aren't rich. They didn't all become millionaires. So if you love the business and you love the history of it, I think it's always a worthwhile. You pay $20, you get a membership to the CAC. That money goes directly back to the fund that helps the legends of this sport be able to take care of themselves in the end when a lot of times they can't, Cap. So with that said, I'll pass it back over to you, Hoss. I do want to give you a chance to jump in with any thoughts or questions because I'm actually really, really excited. Cap, I know that with your affinity of professional wrestling, you wouldn't necessarily have a problem jumping into a little bit of a trivia challenge here tonight, would you?
Maybe.
All right, cool. I'm going to take that as an almost yes. So, Hoss, go ahead and jump back in. Any thoughts or questions? And then maybe we'll get into tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. That could be fun.
Yeah. You've mentioned a few names already, but I know you've worked with several known names in the industry, such as Billy Gunn, Mean Gene Okerlund, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Al Snow, Gangrel, and a host of others. Is there any one name you've worked with that sticks out to you more than any of the others? And can you tell us a little bit about working with them and it sticking out to you?
Oh, that's a tough question. I've worked with a lot of people, and not just 10 or 12 years. I've been in this for 20 years, over 20 years now. So I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen wrestlers gone up to the big leagues. I can't pick this anyone. Maybe I can. One person, which I wish he was in the big leagues, but he's in our Impact Pro Wrestling. James Jeffries. He is all over the place in the Midwest. He's a great guy. I always love to be in the ring with him. I wish he could move on to the next level, but I know he's happy. He's got a family now. But that's the one guy that I like being in the ring with the most is James Jeffries. And if you don't know that name, you need to learn that name if you're in the Midwest, because he travels all over, and he's just a great guy, great wrestler. And that's, I guess, he sticks out to me. But there have been a lot of wrestlers that I've been around, and a lot of them have been great interactions, and some of them not so great.
And are there any of the stories about them that kind of stick out you can tell us?
Well, you had mentioned about the fireball incident that I got. So I took a fireball to the face on one show. So that was interesting. But we had Rikishi came over with a group from California, Territory League Wrestling. They were going to record some shows here or in Iowa, and then put on like a kind of like a YouTube TV show thing. Of course, that never worked out. But Gangrel was there, Rikishi was there, Brian Christopher was there. There's a bunch of people that came over, and there are a lot of nice guys in that promotion. So yeah.
All right. Well, I think that'll do it. And we asked you about the challenge. I believe that you're going against me tonight, and if it makes you feel any better, I've never won.
Okay. You might win tonight.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. So it's not that Haas isn't knowledgeable; it's that he's from West Virginia.
Oh,
so even though he knows the answer, it's still, you heard when you came on, we were working on our FWWC. So that's the cadence that John uses. So even though he's, smart as a whip, it's John, your cadence. And I'm the opposite. I'm the East Coast guy. I'm like, and I'm Latino. So this contrast is crazy. I know the folks enjoy it. Every member of the Wrestle Talk family, thank you guys for being here tonight. And you know what? Let's go ahead and get into the game show challenge, because I got a good one for you guys. So it will indeed be the Wrestle Talk podcast very own Hardcore Haas, also FWWC Hardcore Champion, versus the captain, the ref, 20 years in the game. You heard what I'm saying? Billy J. Are you guys down?
Yeah, I'm down.
Here's what's crazy. We even got some music that leads into the game show challenge. So you guys get yourselves ready. Let's go ahead and cue it up. Boys in the back, you know what to do. Let's go ahead and get into tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Again, Billy J versus Hardcore Hawk. Woo! All right, gentlemen. Let me go ahead and cue it up for you. Get my notes ready here. Let's bring that down just a bit, but keep it playing in the background because I like it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, animals and feces all over, no, species, not feces, species all over the world. Welcome to tonight's edition of the world famous Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Tonight's contest is scheduled to be a best 2 out of 3 falls. Again, tonight's contestants are Billy J and Hardcore Haas. In a few moments, I will ask 3 questions about a particular professional wrestling topic. Whenever you think you know the answer, simply shout it out. The first person to get 2 out of 3 falls will be the winner of tonight's challenge. Do you gentlemen understand?
Yes.
Okay, let's do a sample question. Okay? Name the team that won the National Football League championship last season.
You're breaking up.
Name the team that won the National Football League championship last season.
Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay, that's it. It's that simple. If you think you know the answer before I finish the clue, jump in. Okay, this is the Old West. Whoever's quickest with the trigger. You guys ready?
Ready.
Now, see, that wouldn't have been a fair question because I'm a Raiders fan, so I'm not shouting out that name.
You don't have to shout them out, but you have to acknowledge that they're the champs. I'm sorry to say it. You guys ain't doing too bad, by the way. Jimmy G. By the way, yes, Gangrel does need to come back on the show. We need to set that up. A tremendous guest. I mean, we've had so many amazing guests, including tonight, guys. 151, Billy F and J. Come on, guys. You can't. We haven't even talked about the sweepstakes yet. That's what's crazy. That's crazy. Okay.
I think he froze again.
Yep. And I know you guys are big supporters of our man, the captain. Shout out to you guys for being here tonight. All right, gentlemen, enough with the pleasantries, because here's question number 1. This professional wrestler had an undefeated streak, defeated by Kurt Angle. Presently, he is the Ring of Honor World Television Champion and is preparing to wrestle MJF for the AEW World Championship at AEW Grand Slam.
Joe.
That is correct, sir. The answer is Samoa Joe. Hardcore Hoss currently up 1-0 over the captain, Billy J. Question number 2. This late WWE Hall of Famer had an alleged 15-year winning streak broken by Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3. Please name him.
Andre the Giant?
Andre the Giant is correct. Referee Billy J on the board. Gentlemen, this question could potentially be the winner. This WWE Hall of Famer had held the record for the longest Intercontinental Championship reign until it was recently broken by the Ring General Gunther.
Hockey Talk Man.
Name this former record-setting champion.
Hockey Talk.
Yep, it's Honky Tonk. He got it.
Honky Tonk.
The Honky Tonk Man is correct. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner tonight. We're going to need a little bit of a speech right after we hit this music for you. Make some noise in the back, folks, because the captain on his debut appearance on the Wrestle Talk podcast is now 1-0 in the Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge. Speech.
I have no speech, but thank you, one and all. I had a tough opponent, but I'm glad I overcome the odds.
No, notice he said he didn't have a speech and then went right into the speech. That's why we love the captain. Ladies and gentlemen, this will not be our last conversation with referee, captain, world traveler, and all-around swell guy, Billy J. Billy, before we go, last thing, I know that you also offer help to folks with sweepstakes. So we're going to give you the single cam one time, man. Anything you want to throw out there, pitch, social media, whatever, where can we see you next live? Please go ahead and drop that information, man, because, well, you're the captain and you deserve it.
Well, not only do I referee pro wrestling, not only do I travel all over, but I also love sweepstaking contests. So I enter lots of sweepstakes. I've won trips. I've won a gaming laptop. I've won all kinds of weird things. I've won a year's supply of potatoes. So I've won pretty much everything. I just won a $500 Taco Bell gift card. So pretty snazzy.
Well, that comes along with a lot of butt wipes.
Yep. So before I started my travel channel, I had a sweepstakes channel, Sweeping Up Sweepstakes, which I don't do anything with. So I have that, and I'm entering sweepstakes every day, winning prizes. I love the win, so I love that. I'm also doing. Sometimes I go live with my Captain Billy J Travels on Saturdays. I also went live. We're not doing it anymore, but we had a World Wrestling Vlog YouTube channel that we ran shows every night, but we haven't done that for a while, so we kind of put that on the back burner. But that's where you can see me live sometimes.
Wow. Well, Hardcore Hoss, I'll let you have a moment here before we close things out. If you have anything else for the captain, man, I knew this was going to be a phenomenal interview. I mean, we're just coming off a huge show, 450. I was like, man, we got to follow that up with somebody big. And here we are. Obviously, you linking up with us over in Waterloo and then coming on the show, man. I can't thank you enough. I just want to shout out also Skywalker Luke Roberts for helping to facilitate this interview. One of the most genuine, hardworking people in the business. We're excited to have him as a co-executive producer of the Wrestle Talk podcast, man. So shout out to Skywalker for making this deal happen. But Hoss, what do you got for us?
Just want to thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure talking to you, and just learning more about you and your career and everything. And it's just very fascinating. As Renee said, hopefully this won't be the last time. Just promise us that you'll come back and that you will give me a rematch on that.
Let's bring it. Let's bring it.
Let's do it. I know exactly how Hoss felt when he took that loss.
Fucking bullshit!
Captain, thank you for being here, man. Have a great night. Episode 451, absolutely on fire, dude. Welcome as the newest member of the Wrestle Talk family, and we can't wait to talk to you again down the road, man.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Take care, amigo.
Thank you.
Peace. Hardcore Hoss. Tell me that wasn't an awesome show.
It's been a great show. We had a lot of great topics we talked about, a lot of great discussion, great guests, and a great time with Big Daddy P and the CEO, Dewan Mills. And I tell you, how can it get any better? I just don't know.
You know what? There's only one way it can get better. Next week, episode 452, we got another tremendous lineup of guests and hosts. I just want to remind everybody before we go that we are continually trying to improve the Wrestle Talk podcast. So if you get a second, reach out to us and make sure that you support our sponsors: Royal Mills Transportation, Rathbun Engraving, Nobleman's Barber Lounge, Kincaid Arcade, Interstate 70 Sports Media, Little Popeye Designs, the FWWC. I mean, everybody that we're associated with, everyone that we work with is blue collar, hardworking. Whether it's, the folks in the FWWC or all the tremendous guests that we have on. I mean, I'm just really, really proud of who can continue to progress. And when you have guys like Billy J on, genuine dudes that are hardworking, that have a passion for what they do, it's just great to share this time with like-minded people, man. Everything Big Daddy P brought to the table. The FWWC guys this Thursday, FWWC tonight for the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion. I mean, dude, I feel like the back half of this year, I feel like we've ascended, and now we're just taking that ride down, baby, and just enjoying every minute of it, dude. I know both of our teams are winning, by the way, so let's just be grateful for that both of our quarterbacks are still standing, because guys are going out of left and right, man. Injury after injury. So what happened to Aaron Rodgers? I mean, it's terrible out there, Hoss. So let's just both be grateful that our quarterbacks are still standing after 3 weeks of football. I'll just say that.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy year. I can see that coming. But when it comes to Wrestle Talk podcast, just think 49 more episodes and we hit 500.
Wow. And we're already getting ready for that. I think between 51 and 500, I think there may be another Wrestle Madness mixed in there. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Make sure you're hitting subscribe, follow, and share every single time you see the Wrestle Talk podcast. And on that note, guys, we're going to leave you with something pretty to look at, because you know what? We didn't put this up enough earlier. So, ladies and gentlemen, episode 451 of the Wrestle Talk podcast, we are out of here. You guys have a tremendous night. And again, remember, we are here for you for whatever you need, whether it's just to have a conversation about professional wrestling or it's a prayer request, the Wrestle Talk Podcast is here 24/7 at WrestleTalkPodcast@gmail.com. Good night, everybody.